Hey, what's up? Zach here, and we finally have an update to the Babolat Jet Mach series. This is the Babolat Jet Mach 4, and I have really had my eye on the calendar for this one because, man, the Jet Mach 3 has just been around forever. It's been just a perennial shoe in top 5 lists, both in tennis and pickleball. And frankly, you know, I kind of figured if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I am glad to see we're getting some updates to it, and hopefully you'll like them. Hopefully I will like everything once I see what's actually underneath of the hood here. Babolat did send me these, check out. However, this video is by no means sponsored, and all opinions on these, good, bad, and indifferent, of course, are all my own. The Jet Mach 3, all right, one of the fastest, most stable shoes, most nimble shoes on the market, and honestly, ever, to be honest. And a lot of that had to do with the midsole and the shape of the outsole. A lot of it had to do with the uppers. So let's start there first. Now, number one, this is that matrix upper, which is, it's kind of a combination of engineered mesh and then Zacard mesh too. So you can see there's a panel here that weaving is on top of. That's a Zacard mesh, and then it's just mesh under here. Now, Babolat said they put in another layer of this matrix up here, and this stuff is strong. Like, it is super containing. The one thing is, though, is look on the breathability test. Fog's not getting out of anywhere besides the sides of the tongue. And this tongue is incredibly gusseted. It also is really nicely padded. So fog is coming out of here. The one thing about the sides of the tongue, the one thing I will say is this matrix, or this like kind of hybrid mesh they have in here, the super strong, dense weave, it is incredibly lightweight and it handles moisture and heat very well. So it kind of radiates heat out. So the breathability test on these is maybe a little bit not representative of how good this fabric is. Now, there is 2 layers of it, right? And on the medial side, look how much rubber comes up over here. So this isn't gonna breathe, right? But I do think, and just having them on, the shoe does feel pretty, it doesn't feel bad when you start to heat up. It also is because they have one of Ortholite's really like good temperature regulating insoles in here. That's not gonna do anything for you if you've got an orthotic in here, but if you keep the standard insole in here, this is one of those Ortholite ones that really handles heat and moisture fantastic. So it's gonna do just fine just based on the properties of the actual fabric itself. Now, the one thing I did notice is there was some bending and snapping here where the drag guard meets the mesh. Now, this does have 2 layers of stitching right here, which I think is really good. But what I did like is when it was bending, like even, I have 2 pairs of these, and this is a fresh pair here. I have the other one over there. And that one broke in after about a day of use in terms of the bending and snapping. It went away, kind of like the other Babolats. What I really like, though, is how this rubber kind of flows and bends. So it's this huge piece of rubber, and I've seen other companies bring out huge just slap pieces of rubber on there, and then it just hurts your toes. Whereas in this one, it's got that nice bending action, that nice flowing action in it. This is fantastic. I really, really like this. That's really good engineering. The lace line is reinforced all the way up. It does have a runner's knot. You really should use it. Without the runner's knot, heel slippage is moderate. With the runner's knot, it is just mild. The tongue, it does protect the laces pretty good. I didn't really have any lace irritation doing the runner's knot. And I thought I was gonna, but really none. There's not a ton of padding that goes into the forefoot. It's enough that it's comfortable, put it that way. The heel counter is padded decently in the back, but the heel counter itself is so strong on these things. Getting through with the knife, number one, you can see me just a second ago, like really cranking through it, and just having it on foot, it's not moving. Like, it is super, super strong. And that is what we wanted to see, right? Because the 3s are the same way. A low profile shoe, speed focused shoe, it is incredibly containing, incredibly quick, incredibly nimble. And in these ones, honestly, in terms of the uppers, okay, we're just talking about uppers now, but in terms of the uppers, I don't see anything to the contrary on these. Also, it does have a little bit of a guard here for the distal laces. And a lot of companies are putting reinforcements up here for the laces, when you drag on the upper side. But for the people that actually just toe drag right into shots like I do sometimes, a bad habit, or just drag their back foot along, this is a really nice touch to have that little lip of rubber right here. So I wish more companies would have the guards down here too, because I feel like this is where more people have more problems versus up here. I know a lot of people have problems up here, but people have problems. I mean, I get problems down here too, and I'm not a huge slider. And so I thought that was actually a very, very nice touch. All right, but getting into the midsole teardown of the 4s, some very intuitive engineering in here. Number one, you still have in the rear foot that full slab of Babolats, like that, just like their standard EVA foam they put in a lot of their tennis shoes. It is super elastic feeling, but also very cookie dough feeling underfoot. It's got like the best properties of shock absorption and energy return. This is one of the best EVAs on the market, number one for structural rigidity, right, torsional stability, but also for, you know, shock absorption, also a little bit of balance. It is just really finely tuned. It's, like I said, like Fresh Foam X. It's just one of the best out there. Now on the forefoot, they put a whole slab of Pebex in there. Now, what I found interesting about that is, you look in the bounce height test, 30 centimeters in the rear foot, which is what would, you know, usually see with a really elastic EVA, then only 33 in the forefoot, the Pebex. So that Pebex, remember, Pebex can be tuned to whatever you want, right? This is much more of like a doughy, shock-absorbing Pebex. It's light, and yeah, it does feel springy, but it feels kind of like the EVA in the back. It just shows you, just because you hear a word like Pebex versus EVA doesn't mean one is necessarily quote-unquote better than the other, because honestly, on foot too, the EVA feels just as good, right? Babolat has really tuned that EVA back there so well over the years. But the thing that I think is so intuitive about it is if you look at the shank, it is bottom loaded and it is molded. It's fantastic. It does come up in the arch here for some arch reinforcement. Then it also runs all the way into the forefoot. Now that shank starts here in the arch, runs all the way here into the forefoot. Then you do get a couple of leaflets here that go into the forefoot. And that's what creates the diving board effect on these. Look at it on the tensiometer. It takes 70 newtons to get a new one of these, up to 45 degrees. Obviously that breaks in, but it is a thick shank, but it's thick plastic. It's not carbon fiber, so it's not gonna be super stiff, and you're not gonna lose a lot of that biofeedback and that proprioception. It kind of gets into that window where it's snappy, but also it's like not super bottom heavy feeling. It's just, to me, it's a really nice use of a very elastic EVA, a lighter and maybe more shock absorbing Pebex. Yeah, it's got some pop to it, but it's not, you know, I think it's more meant for shock absorption than using the shank for more of that diving board and that springboard effect. And to me, that's a much better use of a shank in tennis and in pickleball versus something that has like super stiff carbon fiber or just, you know, throwing stuff on there just to throw it. If you're gonna do a leaflet, to me, this is a great implementation of it. So also one other thing I wanted to make mention of in here is there is 2 levels of stitching in the rear foot. Actually, it goes all the way into the forefoot. Yeah, it's 2 stitched. It's stitched doubly, right? So it's strobel stitching, and there's another layer of stitching around that is just gonna give a little bit more containment in the shoe. It's a very small touch that no one's ever gonna see, but you like to see it on shoes because it means you're not gonna wanna pop out through them. All right, but getting into the outsole tread, it's really similar to the threes, honestly. It is just inverse S patterns on each other, right? So there's jutted out S's in the forefoot, there's really mellow, kind of wavy herringbone that's broken up. You got 2 big macro channels coming here and then 2 others crossing. That's awesome, good bending. And then you've got the inverse, right, where they're punched in on these S's in the rear foot and then on the lateral forefoot. And so this was the, you know, it's decoupled tread too, so you got the big gap in here in the middle, a little more flexibility, a little more agility. Really on the threes, it was so good. You know, why mess with on the fours? The one thing they did kind of mess with was the flange. The flange is not, I mean, it does come into a point, but with what they did with the Pebex carrier on the outside, what they did with the shank that comes up over here on the lateral container, they did just kind of sculpt it out a little bit. It still has the exact same lateral stability. These things are super hard to roll. It still has that really just strong lateral containment really for a shoe of this profile. So like I said, if it isn't broke, don't fix it at all. I think this is great, especially if you want the more decoupled tread. Some people like full length tread, but if you like decoupled, this is one of the best out there. I am not doing the durability test the way I'm doing it anymore. I have my new equipment in here, and I'm gonna do a bunch of shoes all in a row and just either do a short or one video, full video on it. I'm still working out the kinks of that test. So this will get durability tested, but that will come in a future video. So no durability test with the burr. The durometer on these is much higher than on the threes though, I will say that. They come in at a 20. So they should have maybe a little more durability than the threes if you just take the durometer into consideration. Remember, durometer on rubber anymore is meaning less and less and less. But at least with the Michelin rubber they have on there, to me, just like more traditional rubber, you should get a little bit more miles out of this than you did previous models. All right, but getting into the fit of the Jet Mach 4, this is a huge reason why this shoe will make a top 5 list this year. Number one, they only have a 10-degree in flare. In previous models, in Babolat, you've seen a crazy in flare on these. These ones much more mellow. Now in terms of length, they come in just pretty standard at 28.7 centimeters, 4.9 centimeters of toe box height, so just pretty middle of the road. Then 9.5 centimeters of metatarsal width, 9.5 of toe box width, so you don't lose anything. Then the taper in the toe box is a really mellow 36 degrees for these. And for how streamlined, how nimble these shoes are, you can kind of see it too. Like you look on the outside of the shoe, looks a little bit more squared off up here. That is the same thing on the inside of the shoe. It's real squared off. And you can kind of tell if you compare it to my last. Like this is just traditional last. You can kind of see it's a little more flat up there. Just a very mellow shoe from the metatarsals into the toe box. Now it only is 9.5 centimeters in the metatarsals, and with that matrix stuff up there, yeah, it does break in, but it's also super containing, right? And if it's super containing, it's also not gonna be super stretchy either. So I would say narrow medium foot, just go true to size. A 2E, I think just go up 1/2 size on these things. I broke a pair in my true size and I was fine. I didn't have cramping, but I did have extended bending and snapping. So like I said, you can go up a 1/2 size. You want 4E, I definitely would be going up a size on these things, but I'd say whatever you wore in the 3s, whatever you felt comfortable with, you can just do in the 4s. Now, in terms of the snake bitten foot, this is another reason why these things are gonna be a top 5 shoe. I'm giving away the plot here. In terms of a flat, neutral, or high arch, yes, yes, and yes. I mean, they pretty much fit anything. Ankle sprainers. These ones, Tornio's shoe of the year for. These ones, because they're so low profile, they're so nimble, right? And so you're getting the benefits of a bulkier shoe in a lower profile package. Plantar fasciitis, yeah, that EVA back there is fantastic, right? So shock absorbing. Plus, these things, where's my orthotic? These things will fit orthotics really well. I have enough height. The only thing, like I said, is gonna be the heel slippage on there. Just make sure you use the runner's knot on these with an orthotic. And like I said, you should be just fine. And when you break them in more and more, that heel counter is gonna wanna sink around you more and more and more. Like my heel slippage got better as I got in them. Achilles tendonitis, once again, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Forefoot pain, yeah, absolutely. Arch pain, absolutely. Big toe arthritis, 110%. This is another one of those potential shoe of the years. Knee and back pain, absolutely. This is just a rubber stamp, basically. Jet Mach 3 was sort of a rubber stamp. I will say, in terms of a speed focused shoe, everybody has been moaning, me too. I'm right there with you. Moaning and complaining about the Adidas Cybersonic 2 and the Cybersonic line leaving us, like they're discontinuing it. And you're like, that was just, it fit the perfect bill, right? For that speed focused shoe, a little more forgiveness. There you go. This just replaces it. If that top 5 list I just did for tennis, take the Cybersonic 2 out of there, put this one in. I can't tell you how good of an update these were. It took a while to get it, but I'm just so pumped up about these. They're so good. They are so good. The only thing that I think got worse on these is that they got a little heavier. That's it. But with the heft, look what you got back, right? With the uppers, right, with the drag guards and things like that, the midsole, a little more beefy. You got a lot back for a little bit, and they're still not heavy shoes by any means. They're just right in the middle of the road at this point. So all in all, boom, I needed one of those rubber stamps. FDZ rubber stamp on these things. Easy top 5 shoe. And my guess is it'll be a top 5 shoe for a long time. So if you want to go back and watch my top 5 tennis shoes for right now, everything is still the same as of right now. It's just throw these in there instead of the Cybersonics, and you'll have my complete top 5 list updated. Make sure you check out the Xenon Zen slide down below, shoe customization ebook down below. Make sure if you're going to check these out, check out my affiliate links down below to Tennis Warehouse. And if you do want to check out another sleeper, really elite tennis shoe that really, I don't think anybody really knows about right now because it was made in the basketball space. The Asics Swift Ace Yuki, which is basically just an armored tank version of the Solution Speed FF4. It is insane. It is great for tennis and pickleball too. I'll leave that video linked right here. It is a sleeper, super elite tennis shoe as well. I'll see you in the next video.